Let's understand for you what the aspiration is. In terms of milestones that have already been achieved, what are you proudest of? What are the targets that you're setting for Urban Company going forward? And more importantly, are you also looking at IPOing in the near future? How are you preparing yourself for that financial eventuality?
Yeah, I'm proudest of just surviving. I think 10 years and still going strong. And proudest of sort of, I'd say, feeling like, it is in many ways, it's not lost on me that it is a privilege to be in the shoes that I have today. We have a huge opportunity ahead of us. India is a growing country. We really think we haven't accomplished much and we're just getting started. And as old as I might look, I'm only 38. So I feel like I have...
You don't look that old at all, Abhiraj.
I feel like I have another 20, 25 years at least to keep running. So I think it was helpful to start early, right? I was 28 when I started. So I think there's a lot for us to accomplish. IPO is important, but what follows going public is more important, which is to operate as a trustworthy, high-quality, publicly listed entity. I think the IPO will happen in due course, whether it's 1 year from now, 1.5 years from now. I can't really sort of put a finger on it today, but it's in that zip code. But more importantly, I think for us, we really look at the next 10, 15 years. We feel like we can create a very important company, more importantly, an institution that creates large-scale impact for India. And in that pursuit, I think we're only really just getting started.
Only just getting started. So, what could the next destination be? I mean, you've got a target for the next 10 to 15 years, which is much more aspirational. But what is the more achievable target in the near term? What's the next destination as far as Urban Company is concerned?
So I think today we are present in about 60-odd cities. And we have around 50,000 gig workers on our platform. All of them are trained, highly specialized, hand-picked. But if you look at India and you look at the services we operate in, that number runs in the millions, perhaps even more than 10 million. So in some sense, despite the early success that we have seen, we haven't really made a dent. And our first goal that we talk about internally is 500,000 service partners on the platform, including 200,000 women partners. I think that is a goal that we would like to accomplish sooner rather than later. Whether it takes 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, only time will tell. But that's something that we want to run towards. And for that, one needs to build capability. Whether it's training infrastructure, technology capabilities, the ability to just work with such a large workforce. I think that's really the next frontier for us. If we are able to bring those many people onto the platform, have them upskilled, enable them and empower them to do better, the consumer demand is there. Consumers are looking for these services, and that's only going to grow. So the onus is on us to make that happen.
And the path to profitability?
We are profitable today at a PAT level. This quarter that just went by, we turned fully profitable as a consolidated entity at a PAT level. So I'm glad that I no longer have to define these paths that I have been defining for the last 10 years. It's now a path to increasing profits, which hopefully will follow. But we also want to make sure that as we become more profitable, our gig workers also continue to see an improvement in their earnings and improvement in their station in life, so that it's a real win-win that we are creating for all our stakeholders.
And that win-win is what has driven the ESOP program as well at Urban Company, yes. Right?
Absolutely. We have been, we have a very broad-based ESOP program. It was started right when the company got incorporated. till date, we have awarded ESOPs to over 1,000 employees. And we have facilitated 6 rounds of secondary transactions. In India, there is often this notion that ESOPs don't have much value; they're just paper money. In the last 10 years, we have facilitated 6 rounds of secondary liquidity or secondary transactions for our employees. The most recent one, where over 500 employees and ex-employees participated, saw a little over 200 crores worth of money essentially going to them. And it was great to see that. It was great to hear the stories of people being able to buy their first home or being able to fulfill their lives, and many of them also going on to start their own companies, saying that, hey, now I have the financial independence and I can go and take that risk. And Urban Company has certainly been a home to many entrepreneurs who then go on to start their own companies. So that's a program that I'm very proud of, the way we've structured it, and it's one that we continue to invest in. We want to keep investing in it for perpetuity.
I know for many of the students here in the room, you're a role model, but you talked about Naveen being the initial role model for you when you got started. But let me end by asking you, who do you look up to today? Which are the companies that you respect and admire? And, is there anyone in specific that you would like to emulate in your style of working?
With the one individual that I have, I wouldn't say seen in very close quarters, but seen from some distance as part of my work in CII, but I truly admire is Mr. Uday Kotak. I think he has built a franchise in a bank that is truly outstanding. And to do it in one generation, and the quality of talent and the kind of ownership that that talent takes is remarkable. And also the degrees, the integrity and the sincerity with which he has built that institution. And when I saw him work, he was a CII president when I was still on the National Council. I was on the National Council with him. The sincerity with which I saw him work at that age, somebody who's achieved everything in his career, the sincerity with which he would advise government on various policy matters. And I think he would have gone on and on had it not been for the RBI clause, which requires you to resign after a certain number of years. Certainly somebody that I, as an organization, I think Kotak Mahindra Bank is an organization I truly respect and admire. As an individual, I think Mr. Uday Kotak is a standout individual.
So I'm going to ask you to leave this young audience and those who are watching us on TV and online, with your life lesson that you'd like to share with them, the one thing that continues to drive you today.
Well, I would just say, play the long game. It's very important in whatever we do in life to have long-term thinking and potentially even long-term greed. In a world where a lot of people are short-term greedy, it can be a significant competitive advantage to be long-term greedy. So really think long-term. Think not 1 year or 2 year, but think 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. Because when you commit that kind of time window to any pursuit in life, you don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the most gifted. Just by sheer time on your side and the number of people who will naturally fall off, you will maximize your chances of success. So think long term. And I think I admire many, many, many things about this generation. Certainly they have a value system that is of a higher order than my generation or the previous generation. But one of the things that you have to be watchful of is the number of distractions that you have, which can actually make your thinking short-term. And just given the barrage of information, social media, accessibility to everything, we can lead lives with a very short-term outlook. And if you can actually flip that and start thinking very long-term in all your pursuits, if it's a hobby, don't think about it from a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. If it's fitness, think about it as a way of life. Think about it for the rest of your life. So almost if you can think about your pursuits with a horizon as though this is what you have to do for the rest of your life, and how would you go about doing it, it will change the game for you.
Well, be mindful of instant gratification and play the long game. It is a marathon. Abhiraj, many, many thanks. We wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Abhiraj Singh Bhal of Urban Company.